Welcome to this episode of the Leap Forward podcast with Riesterer Schnell. I'm Trevor, your host. With Trevor here today, it's Wyatt digital product specialist in our southern region, so covering the Campbellsport locations and also Westfield.
I'm Matt Schneider. I'm the digital specialist intern. I've been doing this for 3 years now.
So I myself am a digital specialist as well. So with that, we're going to go through setting our farm up for success on the operations center side, and go through kind of what we do with customers, what the importance is, and kind of we'll tie that back to Matt being the intern, what he does here at Riesterer Schnell as well. So coming into the fall season, hopefully we've collected a lot of our data already this year. We got our client farm field created. Big thing as we work with some of these technologies is boundaries. With these boundaries, I guess, what's your experience with creating boundaries with customers and utilizing them? And
Yeah, so the fundamental block of the technology that we're using, especially coming into fall here, ties, like you said, directly into the operations center. So having a key boundary, the simplest form of a boundary, hand drawn on a Google satellite imagery, probably field detection, I would say really helps guys out on their monitor, making sure that the data is getting collected back to that field, geospatially getting separated there. So keys to that, having that boundary there really start to unlock, what our capabilities are. And then we can tie that in even farther when we get to some of those high definition boundaries. Guys are mapping those with gators or preseason. Hopefully you got everything mapped if you're going with those high quality boundaries, and that's unlocking these guys to start doing some turn automation features and stuff like that in their combines. So
yeah, no, you mentioned drawing those boundaries in. I guess that was something in the cold winter months. I'm drawing the boundaries in online, and Matt can share some of his experiences with creating those boundaries with a gator. And some of those interesting scenarios.
Yeah, I mean, that's something I do a lot of is ultimately I get to draw a lot of boundaries on the op center, or this winter I worked on mapping boundaries. It provided its challenges. I mean, you wouldn't think it, but field conditions are actually a big part, because if you don't have good field conditions, that globe's swaying all over the place and you have kind of inaccurate boundaries. There was one example this winter where the field was just, they must have tiled it and it was just huge blocks of dirt, and I was just going like this, and when you looked back at the map on Op Center, the boundary was really bad because you were just moving so much.
Yeah, absolutely. Very important to get that high quality boundary. Like Wyatt kind of said, working into some of these technologies that we're utilizing, the fundamental piece is that boundary, the accuracy. We can't take that $1 million piece of equipment to the field and utilize that investment unless we have a high quality boundary. So, very important as we go forward, and wherever you're at in that journey, I think it's important that you work to get higher quality boundaries throughout the seasons. So as we're working into the harvest season here, hopefully we documented our planting layers either manually on a screen, putting them in on our phone after just as a manual layer, or documenting them in a John Deere screen or even in a competitive screen, bringing that data in. You guys want to go through kind of what that can unlock for us as we go into the harvest season here with that planting layer?
yeah, so on that side of things, variety locator is pretty key, especially if guys are doing split varieties through their field. So as you're harvesting your crop, you're able to see their variety changes, either get color notifications or tones on their monitors so that you guys know that you have entered into, a new variety, and kind of can see how that's comparing to the other one side by side there. So some things we can get to that is, setup files sent to the monitors. Can bring into that variety locator information. Work plan is another one, if you want to touch on that, Matt.
Yeah, work plan. I mean, that's something we've been doing. So we started using work planner more in harvesters this year in the summer with choppers. Actually, you started using it's called automatic work plan. We've had really good success. Guys have been liking it, that their fields are just automatically changing and it's documenting the right varieties. I think it's something we'll keep using in fall here as we have more guys with these variety locators, making sure that they do have the right client farm field, and it eases that operator use as you pull in the field. It's just less button clicks when you pull them.
Yeah, Yeah, we get to jump in the equipment ourselves once in a while, and I find myself forgetting those fundamentals as well. I'm trying to unfold the piece of equipment, get it into field operation, and
Yep.
I'm not exactly practicing what I'm preaching of selecting your client farm field. So that's where, with that work planner, it's going to do that for you. It's going to set up your variety locator, and moving into guidance line selection, whether we're using just a straight track or technology called Autopath, where we're documenting all of those rows on our planter pass and bringing those back through to guide our machine through the field. So have really good success with Autopath rows, where every single corner row in the field is documented, and we've been seeing it to where even guys are turning off their row sense on their heads, or even the row sense on those sprayers that has been equipped that way, and letting that machine auto track through the field even on the headland passes. So a lot of great things with that. I mean, even getting into with the Autopath rows, a new technology that I know you messed with a little bit this late summer here on our sprayers with that Autopath, that turn automation on the sprayers. So utilizing that, and if you want to touch on that just a little bit.
Yeah. So yeah, we were trying to get guys this year that had the Autopath rows and the sprayers capable of that new turn automation feature there to always do every turn, whether it's, your fungicide passes or even prior to that, some herbicide or insecticide, stuff like that. Every time you're in the same field, your sprayer's always consistently turning around in that same point. So, the thought behind that is we're reducing crop damage and trying to be more productive there as well. So, system went very well this year with the guys that were able to run it and kind of test it and see what their troubles with it and kind of work through that and how it ties, like you said, to your Autopath. And even if you don't have Autopath, it's still a feature that's out there for straight tracking on your rows there if you're sharing guidance lines. So, yeah, it's definitely been a good tool, and we can now expand to that coming into fall preparation with guys doing turn automation on the combine. So, just every production step that we're able to continue to use the technologies through and kind of get these guys ready to go for it.
Yeah, getting closer to just being an operator in the seat nowadays. So, very, very exciting stuff. Like you said, on that harvest, getting that turn automation set up on the combine, a couple different types of turns that we can do, spiral in, spiral out, and then just kind of our back and forth. So, really thought through that technology of how a customer actually is going to harvest that field, especially in those high volume crops where that auger placement is really important. So with that, on that harvest side of things, when we're doing our turn automation, we're utilizing our G5 advanced licenses or our automation features. With that, we have that machine sync technology where that combine's controlling the grain cart. And then when you lock on, that operator in the cab is, there's no interface on that grain cart tractor. So something that, is very beneficial and can really speed up harvest and keep that combine rolling through the field efficiently.
Yeah, kind of bouncing off machine sync. I know, Matt, you've been doing a lot of work this year with infield grain cart sharing there for grain weight sharing on the harvest.
Yeah, so that's another new exciting thing we're going to have this fall is grain weight sharing between, basically, you'll see in the combine cab, you'll be able to see whatever the weight is on that tractor. And then the operator in the combine's not having to ask over the radio, what's your weight? They can kind of just basically look and know. It's a lot less of a guessing game, and you kind of know where you need to be with that.
Yeah, it definitely helps with some logistics there, right, on that side of it. So I know we had some guys using it for wheat so far and harvest already this year and had very positive feedback that way. So other ways, like logistically, when we focus on harvest, what are some things that guys can do with like semi trucks and stuff like that?
Yeah, so with that grain weight sharing, that's coming to our operations center, web and mobile platform. So we're seeing those weights of the grain carts on that mobile app, and that's where a farm manager on that mobile app with JDLink modems is what's equipped in all of our John Deere technology. We can start to put that in semi trucks, support vehicles that are not John Deere branded equipment, and get that real-time information of where that machine's at. And I'll let Matt just kind of dive into some of the stuff because he's been doing a lot with putting those modems in semis this year.
Yeah, so the most exciting thing this year, we've been putting more modems and semis, is we're actually getting back that diagnostic data. We're getting back engine hours, your miles on your truck, DEF levels, fuel levels, some sort of like engine metrics actually too, like utilization within the engine. So we're getting back more than just the machine's location. It's been pretty good stuff, and I only see it growing from here. That's where it's been really exciting.
Yeah, and that's where I think we see guys running an iPad in the cab, or it is that farm manager that's closely watching the operations center to see where that truck's at. If we got 4 trucks on the road and there's none in the field, maybe we're going to harvest a little bit differently for the time being until we get a truck. So really that operations center mobile or web being kind of the one-stop, I said logistical shop before, but really to help you have a real-time snapshot of what's happening on your farm.
Yeah, very cool. On that, they kind of touched on the logistics side of harvest and fall preparation. Here, there's a feature called idle reasons in the operations center that we could turn on to help with, trying to track down why we're sitting idle in the field and whether we're grain tank empty, grain tank full, stuff like that. So definitely a feature guys could explore and turn on this fall here if they're looking into it. And when we start talking about all these levels of technologies and what we can do in fall preparation, whether it's on the option or the display and stuff like that, it's always would be recommended to try to keep software versions up to date. Would you say?
Yeah, absolutely. As Deere comes out with new features, ultimately it's rolled into the software version. So when we're talking about the infield data sharing, the machine sync, the Autopath, it's really critical that everything that's running in the field is on the same software version, so they're communicating and everything is all with the current features that are in that software bundle.
Yeah. Now, do you want to touch on how guys need to, we started planting and we always try to push the SFRTK, the satellite version of RTK to our customers, and how to make sure that they're ready to go for the fall here as well.
Yeah, so basically making sure that if you are running some sort of advanced features like an Autopath, making sure that we have RTK on the proper globe, switched it around, moving it that way, that you're ready to go this fall, that you're not all of a sudden scrambling, you pull in the field, oh, if we don't have the right globe on here, we can't actually use our features. Just making sure you're reaching out to who you need to make sure that's all set up and ready to go.
Yeah, absolutely. Something that with the operations center and the new technology, that's something customers have the ability to see their current licenses, see what serial numbers have what levels of either accuracy or licenses on their machines. So gives a little bit more granularity that way to the customer and to ensure that everything's set up going into harvest. So
yeah, the one nice feature that was released here recently on the Op Center is being able to sync those licenses. So guys, in the past we moved over to the new licenses tool in Operations Center. We didn't have the ability to sync licenses, so tractor licenses and combine licenses and stuff like this kind of all had different start points and end points like that. So if you guys are running into those scenarios like that, just reach out to your local Riesterer Schnell dealership, and we can try to get those licenses more synced back in uniform there. Whether we want to renew stuff at the end of the year or the beginning of the year, it's a lot more user-friendly now. So, yeah, very cool.
No, a lot of tools that are available for the customers and to help your logistics side. And one other thing just I want to hit on before we let you guys go is we talked a lot about the Operations Center mobile and web, but another really nice app that John Deere's done a really good job on developing is Equipment Mobile. So as you guys are getting in the combines, getting in the tractors with the grain carts, Equipment Mobile has step-by-step directions on setting your technology up in the screen, and then not only just setting up your combine in general. It has crop changeovers, it has default run settings to kind of get a baseline on the crop type that you're running into.
Grain loss calculators.
Yeah, grain loss calculator. There's a lot of tools on that Equipment Mobile app that you guys can download and utilize, and that utilizes the same username and password that your Operations Center account utilizes. So it's not making another account, it's just another app that you can utilize.
Yeah, I know when I woke up on Monday this week to get ready for the work week, popping out of the door and it's 50 degrees weather, I know I was ready to it kind of gets you in the mindset. If you guys aren't wheat harvesting, to get those combines out is start getting things ready to go. So I know this is my favorite time of the year, and I'm excited to get in the field with the guys and start showcasing all the new technology that's been released here. So
Yeah, no, definitely. Where all of the hard work that we put in for the year is coming into fruition here, and we're able to see the results. Last thing is I wanted to touch on Matt's internship. As we come into harvest season, obviously it's back to school for Mr. Schneider here. So you want to just talk about your experiences, how long you've been here, and maybe what the future looks like.
Yep. So I've been here for now, I believe, 3 years. I first started when I was my senior year in high school. I started working in the shop at our Chilton location, and then after I graduated from high school, I started as Trevor's intern. Since then, been doing that basically from then until now. I loved every second. I like what I do. I just had great experiences getting to learn from everybody that I interact with on a daily basis. If it's Wyatt, Trevor, some of the other people on our digital team, just had great experiences that way. It's been a really great experience.
Oh yeah, I mean, with you going to school, it's not where it ends, of course. So happy to have you back here, still during the school year, working part-time. So really important that Matt, you're sticking along for the journey here.
Yep.
So if anybody has any questions or wants to inquire on internships with Riesterer Schnell, visit our website and work through that. Thank you guys for tuning in to this episode of the Leap Forward Podcast with Riesterer Schnell.
We're your John Deere dealer coming through for you, Riesterer and Schnell.